is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We're doing a video about the new datasheet that just dropped yesterday as of making this video. I did a really quick one about Grey Knights, so we're going to do one about Chaos Space Marines. Now, they did get hit a lot harder than expected. There was a lot of talk about, nerfing them and stuff like that. At LVO, there was only maybe 1 or 2 Chaos Space Marine players that plays top 16 compared to Eldar, that like last year that had, 10 out of 16 Eldar, and they didn't really get hit as hard as Chaos Space Marines did today. So it's not going to be a whole complaining video. It's basically going to be about what they changed, the biggest impacts, biggest nerfs, stuff that we can still use moving forward, and things that you should be trying out moving forward in 10th edition with Chaos Space Marine. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, we did get placed number 2 Chaos Space Marine player in the world at the end of the 2023 season. LVO finished it off. We ran the Accursed Cultist build, which I can't wait to talk about. But we're doing an LVO recap video up on Patreon soon, so me and Mike can talk about that. But if you guys are new, we do play Chaos. We play Grey Knights, Death Guard, Sisters, Custodies, all that stuff on the channel, so definitely hit the subscribe. I'm trying to get up to 10,000 as soon as possible, and it's all, thanks to you guys. If you guys are Patreons, appreciate the support. Wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So if you want to head over to Patreon, you get new stuff ahead of time before YouTube and specific stuff that you only get on patreon.com. So let's get into it. Chaos Space Marines. We're going to start off with the rules commentary. I don't think anything really changed with the rules commentary. There is a bunch of videos out there on just the stuff that's in red. Like they added keywords that they were missing when people were actually playing them either way, but nothing really crazy. If I miss anything about the commentary with Chaos, let me know. Mainly, it's going to be about the points, the data cards, that balance sheet, and the index cards. So the index cards is easy with the Chaos Space Marines. It's really nothing really changed. It just added this thing, the chainsword with the plasma pistol to our Legionnaires. Which, if you guys haven't looked at Legionnaires, they are really freaking good. Still, they didn't really get touched with the points. So that was the only change with this Eldari. God. Pretty hard as well. I mean, a couple units, they're still really fucking good. All right, let's get into Chaos Space Marine. So Abaddon stayed exactly the same, which is good. Let me make this bigger for you guys. All right, so Abaddon stayed the same. He's still 310 points. He got a little bit of a hike when it first came out. Accursed Cultist, 20-point change. Now, if you ran 3 units like I did, that's a 60-point increase with just your Accursed Cultists. They also changed that you can't come back, which we'll go over a little bit. Can't come back now in both command phases, just one command phase. So they went up 20 points per the 10-man or 16-man squad. Chaos Lord, obviously we saw this coming. 20-point change, which I think is fine. He is insanely good. 3 up, 4 up, all the wounds, like the Demon Hammer, which is devastating wounds, 3 damage. Once per game, just annihilates a squad. So I that's fine. I was not really hurt about that. This was a big hit, especially because they reduced their durability. Like they increased the points and reduced their durability by a lot. So yeah, Chaos Lord. Then we got the Chosen. They obviously were going up as well. They went up 15 points, so 30 for a full man, a 10-man, so 30 points increase. I think they were 115 before for a 5-man. I was not a huge Chosen, really good. I didn't run a lot of Chosen. There's a lot of people that did run the Chosen, but I ran the Accursed Cultists over the Chosen. So I had 3 units of Accursed Cultists, Spikes, Seekers, Legionnaires, Abaddon, 4-up and Bold Save, stuff like that. So with this change, it doesn't really stop me from running them because I'd never ran them before. But if you were to sub these guys out for Legionnaires, yes, they can't advance in charge, but 1 CP, if they're Slanesh, they can still advance in charge. So you're basically going to be a little bit more CP hungry running the Legionnaires, and Legionnaires are still really good for their point value. Dark Commune, same with the Accursed Cultists, they went up 10 points. So if you have 3 of these in the list, it goes up 30 points. So we're already at 90-point increase for the my Accursed Cultist list. So Forge Fiends, 20 points, it went up. We kind of knew they were going to go up. They're just so good for the points. They always made their points back. I had a trade point video, so they've always made their points back. So that was an equal trade going up 20 points. But but they also nerfed them with the Profane Zeal CP stratagem. Can't reroll the hits anymore. And the Nurgle strats within 18 inches. So they're going to be competing with Vindicators, which we'll go over in the end of this list. Like I said, Legionnaire stayed the same. So for a squad of 10, 180 points compared to 260 points. So basically you have 80 extra points that you're able to play for a 10-man and a 10-man. So I know there are 3 wounds. They're strength 5, I believe, AP 2. But with all of the rerolls and auto wounding or exploding and stuff like that, like these guys are still going to be able to do what you're trying to do, especially if you run a bunch of 5-man units and use them as small missiles coming out of rhinos. Still really good. Then we got our Obliterators. Obliterators went up in points. I believe there were 70 points each. Now they are 90 points each. So they definitely went up. I played Obliterators for one of the first times. I played them when they first came out, but I played them in a recent video or game, and they just do so much work. Flat 4 damage on the Meltas. And then if you're in ranged, flat 6 damage. Like God, we're going to talk about these guys. These guys are going to be in my new list coming forward. So 360 points for 4 of them. They have to make their points back, which most of the time they're killing vehicles. So if you can kill 1 to 2 vehicles a game, they're making their points back. So they're worth the points. So I think that's an equal trade. Everything else really didn't get touched. Like nothing else in here really got touched. Hellbrute stayed the same. Some of these should have went down. Like nobody runs a fucking Helldrake. Havocs, I mean, they're actually pretty cheap for 135. But there's a lot of models in here that people weren't running that should have went down in points, but we got to wait another 6 months for that. All right, Warp Talons went up. They were in a lot of lists. 100 points. They only went up 10 points. So you're probably only going to be running 5-man units. 10-man's overkill. But 5-man unit for an extra 10 points is not that bad. They are speed 12, floating on 5s with Slaanesh. They can advance in charge for 1 CP. Eye of Tzeentch went up. Now, if you guys are playing this wrong, which I actually talked to a guy who won a GT at the last, if he's watching this, I hope you're laughing right now. But he ran the Eye of Tzeentch where you just do the Dark Pact and then you get a CP. But in the wording, it's roll Dark Pact and then pass a leadership test to get your 1 CP with Eye of Tzeentch. So they actually raised that by 5 points, I believe. 10 points, maybe. So if you're not running Abaddon, you can still have a CP generation with the Eye of Tzeentch, but you have to do 2 upgrades. Like if they're leadership 6 with the Dark Commune, you roll a 6 for the Dark Pact, and you roll 6 again to try and pass it to get the CP. So that got raised by 10 points. All right, so those are the point changes. Nothing crazy. We knew it was coming. Honestly, we knew this was coming. So this is where we weren't expecting it. All right. Devastating Wounds. Nothing really crazy. Fire Overwatch. Nothing crazy. Basically just have to have visibility. Ruins, visibility section. So nothing crazy. Insane Bravery before you take a Battle Shock test. So you can't re-roll it, which I'm pretty sure everybody was doing that anyway. Automatically passes, and you can only use it once per game. That's pretty standard. Let's go into, all right, so this was huge. If you guys know me, I run Chaos Demon allies a lot. So Seekers were the Seeker tech for 10th edition with Chaos Space Marines. I think running Seekers to have them block out Scout Move 9, Speed 14, +1 charges, I think advances as well, and then they get to reroll charge. Like for 85 points, they were insanely good. Now they went down 5 points, which is great. But you have to bring a battle line unit per mark of chaos to bring additional units of chaos. Meaning, if I run Nurglings, which increased by 5 points, if I run Nurglings, they're a battle line unit of Nurgle, I can then bring a unit of Nurgle in addition to the Nurglings. Now, Seekers are Slaanesh, so I have to bring Demonettes in order to bring Seekers, because I have to bring a battle line Slaanesh unit to bring Seekers, which is kind of a nerf to Chaos, because they're 110 points for fucking Demonettes. Can't run a 5-man unit, it has to be a 10-man unit. So I'm basically bringing 110 points to then bring 80 points of Seekers. So 190 points to just bring Seekers. So I had to basically drop Sile or bring Sile and Demonettes and basically have them in one unit. And then that's what, 230 points now instead of 120 points for Sile. So it's just a point increase nerf to chaos that they have to bring, you know, units like that. If you just want to go straight Nurglings, which you probably will now, you just go straight 3, 4, 5, 6 units of Nurglings for 40 points each. They still do what you got to do. They can infiltrate and move up 5 inches and then try and block, you know, deployment zones, whatever it may be. They're still really good Nurglings for 40 points. So I'm glad they didn't increase them too much. 40 points I think is fine. But Mark of Chaos Detachment rule. So this was, they said they were going to do it. I didn't believe them, but a unit can only embark within or start the battle embarked within a transport if both of those units share one of the same keywords from the list above. So they have to have Nurgle, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, or Coen. So you can't put Undivided in Nurgle Rhinos anymore. It has to be Nurgle in Nurgle. Same with the Rhino, stuff like, or Land Raider, stuff like that. So I didn't think it was a huge deal because if you're using a Rhino, you're probably going to camp it behind a wall and then they can advance out and whatever it may be. So it's not going to be a huge deal if that's what you're mainly using it for, but it is going to make a big deal if you were just throwing your Land Raider, you know, super far forward in the middle of everything, can't be shot back unless you're outside now 18 inches. But then only guys can get inside if they're Nurgle. So just run Undivided or Slaanesh vehicles for transports like Rhinos, and just make sure that they're not shot at or blown up turn 1 or turn 2. So you got to be more a little bit more defensive with your transports now. But that was a big change. Dark Obscuration, 18 inches now compared to 12. That is a huge difference, guys. 12 inches is big. 18 inches is huge. So if you're 18 inches away, you can then still shoot a Nurgle unit. I think it still gives the -1, but 18 inches is pretty far, especially if you're deep striking or something like that. So that was also a big change. Profane Zeal, Chaos Undivided. Okay, so I guess it's only Undivided now instead of just one Heretic Astartes. So only Undivided you can use this. And then each time at the end of the phase, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, you can only reroll the wound rolls now. So you can't reroll hits. It's only the wound rolls, so that actually impacts a lot of our stuff. With the Forge Fiends, they used to be able to just reroll all hits, all wounds, and just murder whatever the hell they shoot. Now you're going to have to kind of keep them near Abaddon and get the full rerolls from Abaddon, and then spend this for full rerolls to wound, which is still pretty good. Honestly, if you're doing it for the Forge Fiend or some big tank or something like that. But again, it's only Undivided. If you have Nurgle tanks, you can't do it. It's only for Undivided units. But think about Possessed. I think, not Possessed. Yeah, Possessed units, they basically have devastating wounds. So if you do this, they're hitting on 3s, I believe. So they're hitting on 3s. And then they get 1 CP to get full rerolls to wound with devastating wounds of 2+. Look them up. First Cultist, got this. Yeah, so we got 4 attacks each, hitting on 3s, strength 5, AP 1, 2 damage. They gain devastating wounds every time they do a Dark Pact. You can have their speed 9, so they're super quick. You can put them in a Land Raider, but then they'd be Undivided. So you bring the Master of Possession with them. They get +1 to their advance and charges. So that's really a good combo. But I'm seeing if you can bring an Exalted Champion. Probably not. Leader of Chosen Allegiance. I was thinking if you could bring like somebody else with the Possessed, but I think it's just the Master of Execution. So you can still use it for Possessed, stuff like that. Chosen, you can still use it, but no full rerolls to hit. You can do couple different characters with the Chosen. Like I just said, the Exalted Champion that can join Chosen, and you get +1 to hit with the Exalted Champion. So small stuff like that, you're still going to be able to hit as hard, but you won't be able to explode as much. I think that was one of the biggest things with the explosion. The Cursed Cultist. I'm just seeing this now, actually. The Cursed Cultist changed the OC of the Mutant and Torment models by 1. So I actually didn't know this until right about now. So you're seeing my live bucket reaction of OC1. All right, our Cursed Cultists are dead. There's no point of running them. I'm going to take them out of all my lists. I'm deleting the Cursed Cultist list right now, and it is deleted. Okay, so our Cursed Cultists are dead. No point of running them. Maybe a small unit of Nurgle something like that to come back on an objective, just kind of camp at the top and be like, all right, they're just gonna sit on this objective. But again, they're only one OPSEC, so you have to get a lot of them on there to really hold it down for a while. All right, Cursed Forward ability, change your Cursed Cult at the start of your command phase, so you can't do both command phases. Either return 1 destroyed Torment or 3 destroyed Mutant models, so they changed that as well, which is also a big hit to Cursed Cultists. So now, not only did they increase the points by 20, Dark Commune by 10, so it's 30-point increase. You can only bring one. You can only bring them back during your command phase. They're only OPSEC 1. So only being OPSEC 1, and they don't get the full rerolls to hit. So hitting on 4s, exploding on 6s, it's going to be tough. If they have any negatives to hit, hitting on 5s is going to be brutal. So they got a huge, basically just kicked off the board with this. So yeah, that was kind of a tough hit. So what do you guys think about this? What was the biggest thing you guys noticed with the change of Chaos? I mean, this thing was pretty big, but all of these are just nerfs, nerf beyond nerf of Chaos. But let me know in the comments below which one of those you hated the most, the points changes, what you liked, didn't like, and then let's get into some of the options. So Abaddon, I think Abaddon should be in our list moving forward. I think he just brings so much to the table. Him with Legionnaires are very, very good. Legionnaires would get all of the marks as well, so they get to explode on 5s, auto wound on 5s, dark pact, full rerolls to wound with the Legionnaires on an objective. So if the enemy is on an objective and you charge in, you get to get full rerolls to wound built in, which Abaddon gets that as well. If you bring the icon, Abaddon gets the reroll of a dark pact for free because he's part of the unit, so it helps to get your CP generation. He's got the full rerolls to hit built in, so if you didn't need the 4-up invuln save, you can do full rerolls to hit, which is most of our lists are going to be built around now. I'm just going to the Legionnaires. So here are the Legionnaires. Each time a model in this unit, which Abaddon would be in the unit, targets an enemy with a melee attack, reroll the wound roll of 1, and if the enemy is within range of an objective marker, full rerolls instead. Each time a bearer makes a leadership test with Dark Pact, you can reroll that test. That's the icon. And in a 5-man unit, you're able to still have a plasma pistol, a heavy melee weapon, and then per 5, you're able to also have another heavy melee weapon right here. So per 5, you have 2 heavy melee weapons, which is 3 attacks each, hitting on 3s, exploding on 5s if you're with Abaddon, full rerolls to hit, strength 8, AP 2, 2 damage. So they do a lot of damage with just those 6 attacks exploding on 5s, full rerolls to hit. And then everything else you can have just Astartes Chainswords, which are still 4 attacks each, strength 4, AP 1, 1 damage. Full rerolls, either auto wounding on 5s or exploding on 5s, so it's going to give you a lot of attacks. That's just 5 guys. I've had 5 guys go into units with Abaddon, and they mow down a ton at the same time. So I think Legionnaires, again, are really good for their points. Put them in a Rhino, Undivided, or whatever it may be. You can actually make them Slaanesh and just have a Slaanesh Rhino. That's fine. Yeah, so I think Legionnaires are going to be really good, especially with Abaddon. You can run a 10-man if you really want to. You can also make one to make the charge further. They are speed 6, so that helps actually get Abaddon in combat with 1 inch extra movement. He can only move 5, but let's say they're 5 and 6 right next to each other. 6 can move up. Abaddon can then move 5. I'm still within 2 inch engage or coherency, and then you make the charge, and Abaddon now gets to consolidate pile and all that stuff. But in the command phase, you can also make a Legionnaire if 1 died. So you make one, which adds an extra 2 inch coherency plus the base of an inch. So basically, you get an extra 3 inch movement with additional. So again, really good with that combo, Abaddon and Legionnaires. Now with the shooting, I don't think our Master of Execution went up at all. He is still really good if you want to put him with a Legionnaire unit, or because then you get full rerolls to wound. Him with this, he builds that in. So I think he's the one who gave it to the Chosen unit before. But if they're below half strength, you can reroll the wound. So Legionnaires, you don't really need this guy. Yeah, so but his points didn't change. If you want to bring him with Chosen, I know Chosen are really expensive now, but you can still bring him with Chosen. Yes, so devastating wounds, full rerolls to wound, a lot of attacks, 3 wounds, pretty cheap. I think 140 points for 5-man. Chosen got pretty hit pretty hard. They do have, I mean, if Abaddon could be with Chosen, I would definitely obviously go with Chosen, but what else? All right, so this is what we're going to be testing out. Bikes, guys. Bikes didn't get hit. Still really good. Make them Nurgle. Come in from reserves because they get to go back in strategic reserves if they're within 6 inches, fully within 6 inches of a board edge. And then they're Nurgle, so they explode on 5s, and you overcharge them. So you have 5 shots within 12 inches with your plasma guns, 1 plasma pistol, 2 plasma guns. So trust me, guys, it's a lot of plasma if you explode really well. Strength 8, AP 3, 2 damage. So they're really, really good. They're great for secondaries, and if you don't need them to do secondary, they have bolt guns, exploding on 5s, as well as a ton of plasma coming in. So bikes, I think, are really, really, really good. Raptors, being 90 points, cheap, movement 12, 2 melted gun, Nurgle, exploding, or Slaanesh, whatever you want to do, but they could be pretty good for their points. Warp Talons, if you're using them before, you could still use them again. They were only 10-point increase. They have a 5-up invuln save, speed 12, 4 attack, strength 5, AB 2. Havocs might be something to look into, especially with the full rerolls of Abaddon now. So if you're going to be doing kind of like a gun line, these guys are really cheap for points trades. So if you have 4 last cannons with them, exploding on 5s because they're Nurgle, full rerolls to hit, and then strength 12, AP 3, D6 plus 1 damage, like that's going to be really good for their point value. Blitz, still really good to bring, especially with the full rerolls with Abaddon. Nurgle, have 4 of them being Nurgle. You still do indirect fire once per game. And then I really wanted to talk about, Predators are 130, so they're really cheap for some last cannons. I wouldn't do the other one. I would do the last cannon one. These guys. So I was testing these guys out because you have Necrons, which are probably going to be at the top of the meta right now. They have Monoliths, and they have Satans. So I think Monoliths, what is the Monoliths toughness? Is it 14? I know it's really high. It might be 16. Something stupid high. But what we're going to combine with is Abaddon combined with the Hellbrute, and then any tank you have within 6 inches. You're going to get full rerolls to hit, as well as critting on 5s, and auto wounding on 5s. So how the Dark Pack works is you get to crit on a 5. The Hellbrute lets you do crits or sustain and auto wounding lethal at the same time. So since you're critting on a 5, you get both to proc. You get the auto wound and the sustain at the same time. So let's just give you an example. I roll D6. Let's say I get a 3. It's D6 plus 3 shots, blast, but D6 plus 3. So let's say we get 6 shots. We roll 6 dice. Let's say it's hitting on 3, so we hit 4 times out of 6. 2 of those are 5s. So those 2 get turned into auto wounds, and then you get to roll those 2 for wounds. But you get to reroll the 2 misses that you had prior with Abaddon. You reroll the 2 misses. Let's say they turn into a hit and another 5. Well, now that 5 gets turned into an auto wound. Now you get to roll all these again to wound. You're strength 14, so you're going to wound most of the stuff on 3s. 4s, maybe a monolith, but 3s you wound, let's say, 4 out of 6 times again. Then those 4 plus the 3 that you auto crit, that's 4, 5, 6, 7 invuln saves, or 7 minus 3s, turn into D6 damage each. That's going to do a ton of damage to a Satan. That's going to do a ton of damage to a monolith, and that's only 1 Vindicator. You might have 2 Vindicators. You might have a Forge Fiend. You might have some small shot going into. You might have last cannons from a Predator or a Land Raider, whatever it may be, but you're going to be able to one round a Satan or a monolith that you're going to be seeing a lot with Necrons, coming into the meta. So I think Vindicators are something to look into. They're a 2-up save. Put them, kind of covered, so they get a 2-up with cover, and you're able to shoot the blast in combat as well. So toughness 11, nothing to joke about. Obsec 3, 11 wounds, speed 9. So I definitely take a look at the Vindicator because he is 10 points cheaper than a Forge Fiend now. Forge Fiends are still going to be really good into 10-man blobs, but this Tamala Shakalan is blast. Let's say you get d6 plus 3 blast, which could be 1 to 2 dice in addition. So d6 plus 5, basically. Exploding on 5s, auto wounding on 5s. You might kill a bunch of Terminators with just one of these guys, compared to a Forge Fiend that's gonna, you know, always gonna kill the Terminators, but you're spending more points for it. Defilers didn't change. Not bad. Really, really big model. Can move over 4 inches or less because they're walkers. But same thing goes. It's d6. Where is it? d6 plus 3 blast. AP 1 though, compared to AP 3, and only strength 10. So I would probably take the Vindicator over that one. Forge Fiends, again, went up 10 points. Everything else stayed exactly the same though. Here we go, Hellbrute. The Hellbrute has the aura of 6 inches, so make sure you're keeping your Hellbrute and Abaddon within 6 inches of whatever you're trying to shoot. We got Twin Linked, so usually I'm probably going to put the Hammer, just in case you want to do a Tank Shock. And if this thing goes into Satan or teleporting, you know, Monolith coming in your backfield, then it can then move up, full rerolls to hit, auto critting on 5s, auto wounding and exploding on 5s, strength 14, AP 3, d6 plus 1. So this will definitely kill, really wound a Satan or a Monolith at the same time. Plus you can bring a last cannon just to have that extra oomph with him as well. So Twin Linked, you get the reroll wounds, strength 12, AP 3, d6 plus 1 damage. One shot, hitting on 3s, full rerolls, exploding and critting on 5s. There you go. Make him Nurgle or Slaanesh. I would probably keep him Nurgle in case he does get shot back. At least you have 1 CP that he doesn't get shot. And you get to crit on or explode on 5s. So I think the Hellbrute Abbey combo is going to be the way to run Chaos in the next couple of months, at least before the Codex comes out. What else? Anything else that stood out to me? Nothing really. So my list, guys, I'm testing out. I did it the other day. It's going to be, let me pull up the list for you guys so you can test this. All right, so here's my first real quick list that I made. I just revised it because I took out the Accursed Cultists after reading what the fuck they do. Abaddon is the leader, warlord, sole proprietor of this list. We have Cultists, 2 units, both Nurgle. We have 3 Legionnaire units. 2 of them are being Slaanesh, with 2 heavy melee weapons, and then the 3 chainswords. So they're just melee. We have a Chaos Rhino, which is also Slaanesh, to help transport those Legionnaires. We have a unit of bikes, Nurgle, with Plasma. We have 2 Vindicators, Chaos Vindicators. We have a Hellbrute, Nurgle, with a hammer and last cannon. And then we have 4 Obliterators, Nurgle. Then we're testing out the Demonettes, as well as Seekers still, and then 2 units of Nurgle. So that's our 2,000 point list. That is the one I'm going to be testing out if I ever get a game with these guys in the future. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Biggest hit to Chaos you think? What are your lists going to be moving forward? If you want to post them in the Discord, head over to the Discord. Make sure you're using Pastebin. I know it was down for a couple days, but yeah, if you guys are interested in getting in the competitive scene, like I said, I did rank number 2, not number 1. The guy number 1 was really good. He actually was LVL too. We both went 5-1. But if you guys want to get in the competitive scene, head over to patreon.com, support the channel. You get these videos ahead of time on Patreon, and then the live games on Mondays and Tuesdays. So appreciate it, guys. Good luck. Let me know what you liked, didn't like, and how I can improve, and we'll see you in another video soon.
What's up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. If you guys are thinking about joining the Patreon page, we're going to go over each tier and how it's going to benefit you and what you're looking for specifically to get out of 40k in 10th edition coming up. There's a lot of stuff to go over. There's a lot of tactical videos up on the channel, which is for free. There's going to be a bunch of perks that you get specifically for being a part of the Dirtbag Nation Patreon page. So first off, we have the first tier, which is $1 a month. You guys get first access to the videos over at patreon.com. You also get access to the Discord, which is specifically a private link in the Discord that only Patreon members can see. So you guys will have first access to that. Also a benefit is Patreons over the Dirtbag Nation get live streamed games on patreon.com streamed from YouTube, but there's only links specifically for the patreons.com. So not only do you get first access to these videos, you also get to see live stream games specifically only on patreon.com. The next tier is the Justicar. You guys get a shout out on every single video on YouTube. You also get to support us a little bit more. You get first dibs at voting on Discord, as well as you just kind of say, hey, I just want to be a Justicar dirtbag and support you guys a little bit more than that $1 a month tier. But you get all the same access as well as the different color over on the Discord. So the third tier is the competitive dirtbag. This tier, you get a lot more one-on-one coaching. This is a lot of the dirtbags over on the Dirtbag Nation. They are able to send out messages one-on-one, go over list ideas, tactics, anything you guys want to talk about. When I was getting into 40K, or really any game in general, I always wanted to message the top players in the meta and just ask them questions. This $10 a month tier gets you that opportunity to message us one-on-one on Discord, so that way we can actually coach you, give you our insights, suggestions, and that's going to get you better at the 40K 10th edition as a whole. So that tier alone, just $10 a month to have one-on-one coaching, one-on-one messages anytime throughout the month, that's going to be a perfect tier for you guys. Even if you're brand new to the game, we go over 1,000 point list, 1,500 point list, 2,000 point brand new starting list, team list, anything you guys need. That's what the competitive dirtbag tier is for. Also, you get a little bit red number name tag on Discord, so people know that you're really serious about getting into the competitive scene. The Grandmaster Dirtbags. This is the all-in-all $25 a month tier. You get one-on-one coaching, everything we said prior to this, but you guys get to see me, Mike, any of the other dirtbags play your specific list that you want to see tested out live on one of our battle reports. You guys get to mention, suggest videos you guys want to see coming up on patreon.com. So you guys get the above first tier benefit of everything that we do over at Dirtbag Nation. All the support mainly comes from you guys supporting us over here at Dirtbag Nation. And Grandmasters, I can't thank you enough, but for $25 a month, you get one-on-one coaching and anything you want to see live on the tabletop. So you get to see a professional play right in front of you. You guys get to kind of like see it one-on-one, and I'm actually making this specifically for you. There's also TTS events that you guys can suggest. If you guys want to do a first 1 or 2 turn run through on TTS, we can actually log in and coach you one-on-one with that. If you guys see us at any GTs, you guys get special benefits, free dice, stuff like that. Anytime you purchase a merch thing on Discord, you guys get a free limited edition Dirtbag dice sent to you with every single purchase on top of that. So there's a lot of benefits coming up with the Grandmaster Dirtbag. You guys, I can't thank you enough for supporting us. Definitely let me know which tier would be best for you if you go over to patreon.com and specifically go to a tier. And make sure you don't forget to message me up on Discord. That's where we check every single day. If you guys are really into getting into 10th edition 40K, head over to Patreon, join the competitive dirtbag or the Grandmaster. Message me as many times as you possibly want, and I'll coach you the best I possibly can on any specific army that you guys play. Mainly our armies right now, currently, going into 2024, is going to be Chaos Space Marines, Grey Knights, Death Guard, and then we have Custodies, Sisters, and I think that's it going into the wings of 2024. But again, any other army that you guys play, we have other coaches lined up for the Dirtbags that are ready to take on that role of the competitive Dirtbag page. So guys, really appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. Thanks for joining the Dirtbag Nation if you guys are already part of us. And we'll see you in another video soon.